Okay, hopefully this doesn't kill our thing. I just kicked off the stream and it's got your audio here, so for my audience that was expecting it on
no problem.
YouTube.
Right, well, what I'm going to do, mate, is I'm going to mute our audio a second. I'm going to play my intro and stuff, and then I'll come back and we'll start the show, bro. If you're up for that?
Sounds good.
Spot on, mate. Right, let me get this shit rolling then. Start stream. And... Right. Right, dude. Only you can hear me at the moment, but my audio is rolling. Just playing the title screens, and we'll get to it in a sec.
Sounds good.
I can't hear you, bruv. Sorry. Yes, peoples. What's on? It's a Saturday night. You know what's going on. It's a little Q&A tonight with a man like Weekend Modder. Go and check him out on his YouTube channel and his Facebook. Facebook.com The Weekend Modder. That's his Facebook. And then YouTube /user /The Weekend Modder, man. This is who we've got on the show tonight. We're going to be chatting a little bit about RGHing and what he does and all that sort of stuff. It's going to be a good laugh, I think, man. It's going to be a good laugh. Someone a bit different on the show. This is kind of a personal one, man, because it's somebody that I've watched quite a few of his little shows and his stuff that he does on YouTube, and I'm a bit of a fanboy, if I'm honest. So it'll be interesting to have a conversation with someone that I'm a bit like, yeah, you sound used. So it's all going to be good, people, man. I hope you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be a good laugh. So let's get to it, man. I'll leave you a little bit more music, and then we're going to crack on, because you know what's next. The theme tune, please. Let's do this. Drop it like it's hot. Right then. Let me turn this music down. Whoa, whoa, shush. Right, we need to be quiet than that. Oh, not that quiet. Let's turn down to minimum volumes. Right, there we go, peoples. That's all sorted. Now, I've got to unmute a man like Weekend Modder in a second, and let me just flick over to the cool transitioning. Where is transitioning? We need a transitioning, so you can see we have got in the chat, right there, is Weekend Modder. We've got this set up. I've got his Facebook link and his YouTube account set up right there, guys. So if anybody wants to go and look this dude up whilst we're doing the Q&A, you're more than welcome to. Like I said, I'm a little bit of a fanboy. I watched quite a few of his videos, and it's yeah, it's been a while. Can you send me a link to the intro to the song? You can't find it. My intro, the very first one, it's not available. It's mine. I'm sorry. It's a friend of mine that remixed it, and I don't even think it's on his SoundCloud, to be honest. So it's sort of, yeah, it's still mine. I'm sorry. But that's not the point here. We're all ready to go in and have a chat with Weekend Modder, yeah? Let me fucking unmute this man, because this man is a legend in his own right. And let's unmute him. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mr. Weekend Modder, are you in the building?
Yo, what's up?
That's a good sign. That's sort of a noise.
Yeah, you got me? Test.
Yes, brother. Spot on, mate. Spot on. In fact, I think you might be a bit louder than I am. It's all good. We sorted it out. How are you then, brother? You all right?
Doing darn good. How about yourself, man?
I'm very, very good, mate. I've been looking forward to this, mate. I don't know if you heard my intro then, but it's Yeah, I'm a little bit of a fanboy, to be honest, bruv.
I know you're turning my cheeks red a little bit here, man. I don't know that I ever consider myself somebody anybody could be a fanboy of. So yeah, that might be a
Mate,
first.
I love your fucking content, mate. It's good. It's good videos. It's what we like here on Smod, definitely. Like, you know what I mean? It's proper. It's about all about the mods.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? There's no halfway with this stuff. It's a lifestyle.
I'm not nearly interesting enough to present other content, so I just got to teach you about the mods and the stuff that I learned from other people and stuff.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. It's all good, man. Can you send a link from there? Yeah, sound right. I suppose what we should do then is we should start off with the first sort of like intro, which is sort of like, who are you, what do you do, and whereabouts are you in the scene and stuff.
Yeah. So my name is actually Aaron. I don't keep that a secret or anything. Weekend Modder is definitely the moniker that everybody recognizes and stuff. I live in the Denver, Colorado area out of the USA. I've lived here with my wife. And
4 o'clock your time, is that about right?
Yep, you got it. 3:11 p.m. just about.
Nice.
Yeah. So I've lived here
cool,
with
man.
my wife and my kids and 2 dogs and a house and all that sort of stuff for most of 10 years. And man, modding stuff. I got back into DVD drive flashing probably 2007 when it was just infancy, right after the 360 came out. Yeah. I did DVD flashing for a whole bunch of years, man. Did everything from did you ever mess around with the flashing stuff? You ever did some of those like crazy vampire mods where you had to use the probe that sat on 2 different points at the same time and stuff?
Yeah, I've still got the TX one with the 2 probes on it.
Yeah, man, those things were a giant pain. But all the way back from there, I mean, I probably got one at least of every product Team Executor's just about created, at least since the 360 scene started. So started with those, moved. There was actually a dude pretty local to me that, man, I don't even know his name, and he probably deserves a whole lot of credit for getting me started in the scene, who threw up on a Craigslist deal. He had 10 JTAGable consoles, and he wanted to sell them for what I thought was a pretty reasonable price, but I had no clue about anything JTAG, and I just said, screw it, I'm going to dive in, and bought them all. And learned from there. So that would have been like 2008 sort of thing. And then the first versions of RGH started when Gleegly released that stuff in 2009-ish. So starting with RGH1 and the dashboard limitations and stuff. And, man, it's just been history from there. It's
been a wild ride, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's been a wild ride. The whole 360 scene has just been absolutely mental. I mean, I didn't start publicly coming forward and modding till about 4 or 5 years ago, but I've always been in the background. I've always kept up to date with what's going on, like, and kept my eye on the scene, sort of thing, like, you know what I mean. But never really got involved too much. And then, yeah, a couple of years ago, I just thought, no, I need to be involved with this, and I jumped in, mate. You know what I mean? It's such a steep learning curve, isn't it?
Oh, my Lord, man. I mean, it's hard to not get fed up with the newbies that join in and they want to be spoon-fed everything too, but it really helps to get a slap in the face every now and then and have to try to learn something new, because you get a feeling for what it's got to be like for new people coming into this that don't have 5 years worth of history, man. I mean, it's so much information to try to absorb in a short amount of time. It's impressive anybody can follow these tutorials and get it done, much less, you know, somebody who's just starting from scratch.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, to the original creators of this stuff, it's just like the reverse engineering that they must have gone through to get to where we are now. It's just crazy, isn't it?
Absolutely,
absolutely
man.
Crazy. But I mean, it's all kicking off again with the Switch now. I don't know if you've looked into that. Apparently, Team Executor are going to be bringing out a mod chip for that. So it's all going to start again. You know what I mean? We're just going to carry on our cycle. It's going to be good.
Oh, yeah. I actually have a little bit, maybe news. This would probably be considered breaking because I haven't mentioned this to anybody else, and it's not 100% done deal, but you probably have seen on my site, I've had a couple of custom tools made up with a partnership between me and a fellow by the name of ModShop. His site's modshop.co.
Yes,
Element
yes,
8.
I have. I looked it all up before I did this interview with you, mate. And there was a couple of things on there that I need that you're out of stock on that maybe we might be able to find in a box somewhere.
Oh yeah, we could probably find some for you, man. No worries. But what I was mentioning is because you mentioned the Switch, and he approached me, and I think we might be sponsoring, because in the Switch the NAND actually just disconnects on a little daughter board from the things, and we may have a one of a kind custom little tool coming out for plug and play solderless reading of the Switch NAND here pretty soon.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
That would be sick. Well, what I've heard from it is running like a dual BIOS type thing.
Yeah,
I don't know how they're doing that, but it'll be interesting to see how that develops anyway, man.
Yep, absolutely. I'm hyped too. I hope that it turns into something good, because the Xbox One not so much the PS4, but the Xbox One's been a little bit of a letdown on that. Most of my people are Xbox oriented, and when they hit me up looking for an update on the One, and I got to kind of disappoint them, that's never fun.
The amount of people that I see on Facebook on a daily basis, like probably 4 or 5 people asking, is there any mods for Xbox One? Can I get a modded thing for Xbox One? And everyone's like, no. Yep. So we're all a little bit disappointed about it.
Oh, yeah.
But the answer's still no.
Exactly. I wish it was a different answer, but no, man. No. Yep. I think Microsoft took their lessons, man. The 360 got cracked so thoroughly. I mean, it just really, from an engineering point of view, like you said, all the credit to the reverse engineers, but it got cracked and smashed so absolutely thoroughly that I think they probably focused a lot of resources on the One and locking that thing down hardcore.
Well, from what I'm hearing, a lot of it is VM now, so we're actually connecting to the network no matter what we're doing. It's all done on their side rather than our side. And our boxes are just basically a glamorized streaming box.
Yeah, the hypervisor levels and the virtual machines, and there's multiple operating systems running, and man, it's nuts.
It's not on our side like it used to be, and now it's so much more on their side.
Yep.
It's like you said, they learned their lessons, didn't they? Definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But by the sounds of it, Nintendo didn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Wii U, everything else has a track record there too. I mean, I'm not known in those scenes. I definitely mess around personally and stuff. But if the Switch looks like the console to be, so I can continue to provide some value and stuff, then I'll migrate there as the opportunity presents.
It's that whole thing about picking up your gaming console and walking out the door with it.
Dude, it's nice.
Genius.
Yeah. I am addicted to Rocket League, and once they threw Rocket League on there, Rocket League Portable changed my life. Oh my god. Yes, let's go.
Yeah, it's serious stuff, mate. Definitely serious stuff. But we got to get back onto the topic, because this is more about the Xbox side of things. As everybody knows, that's kind of what my channel's about, and what I do here on SMOD. It's all mainly Xbox related modding. I've done stuff with arcade machines, and I've got a friend of mine that builds arcade machines. I've done some stuff with him as well, but we've kind of tried to focus on the RGH stuff. So we'll start off with the first question in the Q&A actual thing, which is, how long have you been RGHing then? So when was your first RGH?
Yeah, so RGH, I think I did the...
or JTAG in that respect, like, you know what I mean? It's sort of, when was your first exploited console? Can you remember it?
Shoot, first exploited console altogether. Wow. I'm trying to think if I technically
Was that first point that you saw XL, mate? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. So first time that I saw Zell was definitely related to those JTAGs I mentioned, picking up off that guy in like 2008 area. So the consoles came out, that might have been late 2007, early 2008. Was definitely messing around, and I don't think JTAG was all that old. I think it was available pretty quickly. It was already a little bit difficult to find JTAGable. But that's what got me so excited, is I had this limited selection of JTAGable that required that 7371 dash and below. Yeah. And then when Gleegly released that RGH exploit, so when Gleegly released that RGH exploit, it set me on fire, man, because I'm like, oh, I can do this on current dashboard consoles? Yes! And I just went to town, man.
Yeah, and the solder lit up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So... yeah, this is quite a good question. I don't know if obviously you've seen these questions before, but do you know roughly how many boxes you've glitched?
So I did some homework for you for this. I get asked this question, so I went back through. I have saved the NAND dumps from every console I've touched going back years and years. I got a 3 terabyte hard drive that I just throw stuff at.
Yeah.
That's where it lives today. Best I could count it, counting every NAND archive I have, individual serial numbers, I have done 4,261 consoles, RGH'd or JTagged.
Holy shit, dude. That's some serious time with a soldering iron.
Yeah. So that is 5, 6, 7 years worth of, consoles, and that's selling pre-mods, doing send-in service, all that sort of stuff. But I tried to do the math, and it just got too depressing. I think that's something like an average of like 4 consoles a day since I started doing it,
Yeah, that's crazy, mate. That's a lot of time. A lot of time with that soldering iron, for sure, man.
Oh, yeah. And that doesn't even count the flashed console. So I didn't even consider all the serial numbers that I have the firmware for DVD drives.
Yeah. I'm sure that's a big number as well. Do you usually flash your drive when you do an RGH then, or do you leave the drive stock?
Yeah, these days I don't bother because nobody cares about it anymore. When I was doing flashing, I was pretty much only doing flashing, and then I moved on to pretty much exclusively only doing JTAG RGH pretty quick after I kind of transitioned.
Yeah. When you started flashing, did you use the VGA or did you use the not VGA? What was it? The port. There's a port method and there's the VIA chipset.
Yeah, the VIA 6421, whatever, the little add-in card that you could get.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I started out trying to use the built-in motherboard one, ran into issues, same as everybody did. Picked up a 6421 card when they were hella overpriced because they were high in demand, and then eventually moved on to the X360 USB once that became available.
Yeah, I've got that as well. Have you got the Pro? USB Pro?
The 360, it's not the V2 that integrates both the CK3, the power source, and the USB. So I have them in separate devices. I have a CK3 Pro, which is a standalone converter from Molex to DVD drive power. And then I have the X360 USB that goes from USB to SATA. There is one combined device that puts those both in the same thing, and I've sold a few of those, but I don't personally use one.
No, I've got the USB Pro and CK3 Lite.
Yeah.
It's a good little bits of kit, definitely.
Oh yeah, man! I've got thousands of dollars in these products because, of course, you got to have them when they first come out, and that's when they're most expensive. So if you wait a few years, you could get them, discount price. Yeah,
for sure, mate, for sure. This is quite a good question, man. I mean, there's not that many people about this evening, man. Usually I've got a little bit more of an audience. I've only got a few people watching this evening. It's all good, man. Like I said, I'm a bit of a fanboy, so I'm enjoying myself very much so, mate. Actually having a chat with you and chilling, and it's all good. It's all good. But what do you think was your worst experience whilst installing? Like, have you got any real nasty stories from when you picked up a console and gone to install it and shit's gone hellraiser?
Oh man, I've had more of those than I would be wanting to admit. Probably the single worst story that I could tell would be the attempts to RGH2 Zephyr consoles. And I don't know if you've done enough of them to know and have the variety and motherboard types and stuff. I presume you probably have, but man, let me tell you that a Zephyr console, I would rather...
Shouldn't be.
Oh my God. They just shouldn't be touched, man. And I have... I just you get that little glimmer of hope when you get that one Zell boot and you think, man, I'm there. I got it. I just got to tune it out just a little bit more. And then it never boots again, And it at some point recently here, it's become cheap enough that you just go, man, just sell that thing for whatever you can get for it and go buy you a Slim, go buy you a different console, a Jasper or whatever. But man, I can recall a specific customer Zephyr, and this customer had a personal attachment to his console. What the story he told me was that his brother, who joined the military and went off, had died and left him this console. So he had this personal, emotional attachment. So when I tried to tell him, oh, it's a Zephyr, it's not worth it, he begged me, oh, please, man, try to do this console. I would appreciate it. It's my brother's, and he's passed away, and so... I said, okay, man, I'll give it a shot. And I I think I tacked it. I counted up the hours, and I put 13 hours into attempting to RGH this console, and never. I mean, I got Zell booted out of it one time, could not get any consistency out of it, and given that I can RGH a typical console most of the time in something like 40 minutes, start to finish sort of thing, like this thing just ate my lunch, and it was awful, man. It was the worst one I've ever worked on.
Yeah, I can imagine, dude. It sounds bad. It sounds bad. That's yeah. But mate, you did it for a good reason, though. That's the mate. You know, you put the hours in for a good reason. It was a good cause. So good on you, mate. Good on you, definitely. But I would have probably said, look, let's just sort you out a different console.
Oh yeah, we ended up just case swapping it for him, and I told him, yeah, well, we saved the KV out of it because I did get one Zell boot, so I was able to get the CPU, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
I can make it say that it has the same serial number, and I can swap the case, and you won't know the difference. And of course, I told him, but he was happy enough with that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's fair enough, man. That's fair enough. Oh wow, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So this is quite a good one because there's quite a few installers that have gone. I don't know, like because it's the sort of thing that I mean I know I've killed at least probably 5, I reckon now. Which is how many actual Xbox motherboards have you killed, like beyond repair?
So I've probably taken out probably 8 in total would be my count, and then 3 of those that were completely non-repairable by even other experts. I've got a guy who used to bounce around the Team X forums that went by the name of Crafter, Krafter, that I had a couple of 4 gig consoles that I early in my days of doing it and stuff, I botched the pads and stuff, and I count those among ones I killed, but I was able to ship those off to him, and he has that whole microscope soldering setup, and he was able to do some trace repairs there. So there were a few I killed that ended up being repairable, but there were a couple I killed that were just straight up mistakes. The early days of the Ace V3 Trinity install, doing that little D resistor point right underneath the heatsink there. Wiped a few of those off and took that out.
Yeah, definitely. My little one was the little yellow wire from the Ace from the is it reset wire on that little tiny pad next to the resistor.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's the reset CPU RST on that little tiny resistor. Yep.
Yeah, that one, mate. I screwed that one up on at least 2 of the boxes that I killed altogether.
Yep.
And yeah, I got angry with them.
Yep, did that one. Did a couple of PLL kills, probably early in my JTAG days or the RGH1 days where you were hitting that PLL where it's so close to everything else. A couple of times I killed some stuff and I put it on the shelf, and 2 or 3 years later I came back and my skills had increased enough that I was able to repair some of my own damage and stuff.
Yeah, I've got a few in the shed that I'm looking forward to getting back to at some point, but
yeah, it's a good feeling, man, when you know that like past you couldn't do it, but now improved you is capable of it. So that felt good.
A reball station is the next thing on my bucket list to get. So once I've got that, then there's a few consoles that I'm sure I can save that I've got in the shed.
Yeah, I'd try not to consider the ones that died, Red Ring mid RGH as necessarily my fault. For a long time, I had a policy on my send-in that said if the console was previously RGH repaired, I would actually stop and I would send a separate message and make them acknowledge that they accept the risk of having a console that's already been repaired, modified, because that. That's only going to increase the likelihood that it's going to, could come back up again.
Increases the load, increases the heat, increases everything.
Oh, yeah. Run them hot.
Yeah, definitely. Those things do get warm. I looked into getting a water cooled for mine, actually. I was quite interested in that. But I've seen somebody else has done it. I was like, well, they got there before me, so...
Yeah, I've seen 1 or 2 done that way. The water cooling is pretty neat, but man, it always comes down to like price per usable product, right? So you could spend $60-$80 water cooling it, or you could spend $60-$80 and have a new Slim that doesn't need it.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. Yeah, it's very true. But I mean, my mate did the PS3 and he water cooled that. He did a Punisher one and it had like the tank on the top and it was all LED lit up. It would look really, really cool. But I think the price after it all was like $370 or something stupid.
Yeah,
It's like,
man.
mate, with this, and that was just with what he put in. Like, he didn't make any money on it. It's like, well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, people
Absolutely
underestimate the
ridiculous.
cost of those visual mods, man. I get asked all the time, "Hey, will you do a paint job? Will you do a cutout window?" I say, "Okay, well, if it takes me 10 hours to do it, unless I only want to make $2 an hour, I got to charge you a couple $100 to do that sort of thing." And that just nobody wants to pay that, and they shouldn't really. I mean, that's something you got to do for yourself so you can take pride
Yeah,
in it.
definitely, man. That's what modding's about. There's a lot of people who've lost their way with that. Like, with not saying that they shouldn't go out and buy a console straight from you or from Tony or from whoever. Like, you know what I mean? It's there is a certain point of it. You've got to realize that it's not all a bought mod menu and a bought console. It's getting in that game yourself and playing with those files or finding something that you think, oh, hold on a second, can I cheat on this game or can I make this game better? Or you know what I mean? That's what modding is to me. A lot of it, and a lot of people don't see that. I don't think
Right.
a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Yeah, I totally
What's
agree
your
with
views?
you. I think the idea of getting into modding and stuff is part of why I ended up. I mean, because this is just my side gig. I do this for fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy the crap out of it. I really like it. But the reason I do well in my day job is because I got interested in nerdy technical crap like this, and we just, I can design a mod menu that pokes at the registry entry and shifts these and gives me this ability and does that. And guess what? That directly applies to a high paying software engineer job at a real company and stuff. So while your mom and your dad might just say, "Oh, stop playing video games all the time," you could tell them straight from me, and I bet you, Smod, you probably back me up on this, that stuff leads into and feeds the curiosity and the education that happens there that pushes you into really great
Like
technical.
it's that steep learning curve. It
Oh
is that
yeah.
steep learning curve that makes you go, hold on a second, this is possible. You know,
Yep.
there is a massive point where you just realise, go, oh, we can do this all ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
With the help from each other, we can do it all ourselves.
Yeah. That's why I've
It's
always been so
it's amazing.
disappointed with people who want to keep that knowledge like proprietary. I will be the first guy to admit that I have originated none of this. Like, I
Yeah,
did not invent the mod chip. I have a basic understanding of the process and stuff, but what I've gotten really good at is following other people's tutorials that are kind of complicated and trying to break them down even more for other people. And that's where it's at. Like,
yeah,
why should I take something that I got for free and then
yeah,
bill somebody to teach them? That's why all of my videos are free. All of my information on my site's free. I mean, clearly I'm trying to make a buck. I'll sell a console if you don't want to do it yourself. But it always starts out with, here is how you can DIY. Now, if you really don't want
yeah,
to, you can pay me.
definitely.
But here is how
Yeah,
you could do it yourself.
can exactly. The amount of people that have come up to me going, "Oh, can you make me a DLC car for GTA?" And it's like, the tutorial is here. I can show you exactly what to do. No, I can't be asked doing that.
Right.
It's like all you're doing is changing images. Like it's not even real modding in the sense of changing anything within game. You're just removing their images and putting yours in their place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's sort of it's something so simple like that
Yeah.
that people don't even want to learn how to do that. You
Yep.
know what I mean? It's very strange. It's very strange to me because of. I mean, I made both of my RGHs that I've got. I made my mate's RGH. I've made probably what 6 or 7 consoles in total. But it was my own hobby. You know what I mean? It wasn't ever anything that I looked into as a business or anything. But yeah, it's good, man. It's good. I enjoy it. It's an amazing hobby, isn't it?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I think the variety that's out there, and like with any good hobby, I think I run into people like this professionally at my day job and stuff. People who are really into something, oftentimes will operate a small business and will make a little bit of money. That really the only thing that it does is end up fueling your own habit, your own ability to keep doing it. When I started, the reason that I wanted to buy the next console was because I could sell it and maybe make enough to buy one and a quarter, and then you did that 4 or 5 times, and now I can have 2 consoles at the same time, and I can play one and I can have one for sale, and it really just worked out to be something that eventually led into the sale of supplies and stuff, and that's what I really would prefer. I would much rather you read my tutorial, say, man, I appreciate the breakdown on the tutorial, spend a couple bucks on the store saying, hey, even though maybe he doesn't have the best prices, I appreciate that he took the time to make a video and explain it, so I'm going to kick him a few bucks and buy my equipment from him, and then send me the video like, hey, look what I did. You know, people post on my YouTube all the time. Yeah. Hey, I made my console because of you, and that makes my day, man. That's really what it's about.
Mate. Definitely. Yeah, that I can imagine. I mean, I used to watch, your tutorials, Mr. Mario's I watch quite a lot of, and XX Johnny Guns. And Johnny Guns is somebody that I want to get on the show as well at some point, definitely.
Oh, yeah, man.
But, I mean, it's phenomenally fun. Like, you know what I mean? It's just a great hobby, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. And modding your own stuff, it gives you so much more satisfaction.
Yeah, absolutely. I really think that everybody who really gets into it and does well and really gets the most amount of enjoyment about it is the guy who modded it himself and, you know, maybe even did his own reflow, brought a console back from the day. The happiest people I ever talk to are guys who say, oh, I bought this console for $10 and it was broken and I reflowed it and then I RGH'd it and now I got, you know, $25 in this whole console and I play the crap out of it. And that's really what it's about.
Definitely, man. I mean, I first started flashing disk drives because of my kids would get a disk and destroy it within 2 days, and that was 50 odd quid down the drain.
Yep.
And I'm a family man. You can't do that. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
and
yeah.
we all know how much the Xbox 360 like to eat discs as well. And like all it took was a little tap. And you have that lovely laser burn all over your disc.
Oh, yeah. You get that nice squealing sound, and then you just knew that disc is toast.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was a really poor design. And the fact they marketed it so you could put it on its side and put it on its belly, it was ridiculous.
Oh, man.
So listen, just put it on its side and don't touch it.
Yep.
We don't want you to touch it. It shouldn't have ever had the option to flick it up.
Yeah, stand it up. That'll be a good idea. That can't possibly go wrong.
Yeah, definitely. Not to mention all the Red Ring of Death thing that went on with that as well, especially that first lot. So when they know it's coming and they build in lights to tell you that it's coming. There's lines, Microsoft. There's lines, definitely.
Yeah, they paid $1 billion for that price tag, but even still, I mean, I don't know a single person. I ask people often, you know, were you gaming or did you play the 360? I don't know one single person who said, yeah, I bought one, I still have it, and it works. Like every person you possibly ask says, yo, I bought one. And then it died, so I bought a second one. And then it died, so I bought a third one. And then I warranty exchanged that one. And then it died, so I gave up and went to PS3. You know, that's usually the story.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a shame. Microsoft's reliability issues have definitely not been the greatest over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
that's
man.
for sure.
They you know, you can't blame them to a degree. Like, it's an impressive machine. Like, the Xbox One, if you compare graphically to the 360, right, I think, at least personally, man, the differences are not insane. They're not that different. Like, the 360 is an incredibly capable machine for its time. Yeah. And to fit that all in that tiny little thing, I mean, it's kind of like, of course you were going to have heat issues. What did you expect?
Yeah. For sure, man. I mean, they nailed it with the Slim, though, didn't they? You know what I mean? Oh, what? So if we put the fan on top of it...
God forbid!
We don't need ducting, but the ducting was part of the plan.
Yeah, that just is bewildering, man. Let's put plastic ducting. Oh, and by the way, the bottom of the DVD drive will serve to be part of the ducting, so we don't even have to put plastic on all of it.
Oh, it's so funny, wasn't it? It was a cooling nightmare, the old Slim.
Oh,
absolute cooling nightmare. But yeah, that's what mods are for, though, man. Whack a big fan on the top of it, Carl. Perfect.
Oh yeah,
no problems.
When the 360
did that
added that
tonight.
little GPU riser, if you've been in a whole bunch of the FATs, you'll know that some of the GPU heat sinks were just a plain little heat sink. And as they realized they were having problems, they added a heat pipe to it that came up
Yeah.
with another little mini heat sink that would be right in front of the CPU heat sink. And I put...
Because there was loads of airflow there as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, I'd say... On many a console, I took a hole saw and drilled a hole directly over that little mini heatsink, and then mounted a little 40mm fan directly over that as a try to be
Awesome.
R-rod prevention and stuff. So exactly, that's exactly what mods are for. That's what the DIY spirit is about. Oh, my crap's overheating? Let me figure out a way to cool it.
Yeah. I've 12-volt fan modded mine. I did a lot, mate.
It only
thing
just sounds like a jet
spaceship
engine
when
taking
turned
off. Yeah.
But it never broke on me once.
There you go.
Never broke on me, and it's still going to this day. And I use it now as my projector. I literally use it to put a USB in it and play stuff on my projector. Because it's in the cupboard, it's out the way. Doesn't make a noise when it's in the cupboard.
Waste not, want not. That's a perfect use case, man.
But the best thing about it is it's in there. It's got a 12-volt fan mod. It doesn't matter if it gets hot because it's got a 12-volt fan mod. It sounds like a jumbo jet.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny. It works, though. It works. It does its job.
At the end of the day, that's what counts. It works.
We're going to have to fly on with these questions, man, because we've just been chatting, rambling for a while, which is cool, but it's all good. Right. Did you ever get beaten by a console? Or what was... Oh, no, we kind of covered that one, didn't we? What was the longest? You said you had one that was 13 hours.
Yeah.
It's a pretty long, stubborn console.
Yeah, I would definitely consider some of those Zephyrs would definitely beat me. You know, I think after that one I tried one or two more, and then I instituted the policy of just no more Zephyrs at all. So
Fair enough,
I definitely consider that to have beaten me for sure.
Cool, man. Cool. Right then, have you ever sent an Xbox to the wrong person?
You know, I gave that one some thought, and I think I've got a pretty darn good system. I use like little plastic trays when they come in. I have a send-in form that gets attached to them, and I've sent supplies orders to the wrong place, but I've never sent a console to the wrong person. So fortunately, no, I can confidently say I've never shipped the wrong console back to the wrong person.
Oh, mate, well done. A star, brother.
Woohoo!
Right then, this is a good one. Have you ever tried installing the Corona V2 motherboard or higher with a different one, i.e., like wired up your Nandex instead of the 4 gig?
Oh yeah, I mean I've definitely like tinned the headers and then realized, what am I doing? This is not going to work. Or, you know, I had one day.
I've done it.
Go ahead.
I've wired up the whole thing, mate. I've done the whole thing. That's why that question is here, is because I did it. And I thought, quite a good question. Let's see how many others have done that.
I think in a similar vein, the one that probably destroyed me the most is I've got my power supply sitting on my desk next to me, but it's facing away so that I can't always see the light on it, that, you know, whether it's on or not. And I battled with the console for probably 30, 45 minutes. And I was just getting that cannot continue 000 NAND header back. And I had my standby power plugged in. I'm like, what? I touched up my solder. I rechanged NAND wires. I changed over, doing all this sort of stuff. And actually, you can look on my channel. I've trained my wife, actually. She can do and has done a few RGHs and stuff in the past. And so out of desperation, like I call my wife down here and I'm like, I'm ready to like pull my hair out and throw this console against the wall. What am I doing wrong? And she's like, well, you have standby power? And I was like, yeah. She goes, but the light on the thing's not on. 30 seconds, man. She fixed it. I plugged in the power supply and bam, read the net. It was no problem. I was like, somebody who's done 4,000 plus consoles to somebody who's done like 4.
That, didn't she?
Oh, man.
I bet she rolled around. Oh, that's so funny. That is so funny. And when the wife pulls that one out, you're like, oh.
I can't say anything because it's true. I can't argue.
That's a brilliant one, mate. That's an awesome story. It's an awesome story. I like that, definitely. This is quite a nice question, man. Which is, what is your most like proud of console? Like, what's the console that you're most proud of? What you've made?
I've done probably a handful, but I made one, and there's some really early videos. Like, you have to go back to like the first. It's within the first 10 videos posted to my channel, and there's a couple hundred on there now. But I did this Superman mod console, and the story is actually even a little better. And I'll go fast for you because I know we're pressed for time here. But I had decided that I was gonna do a cutout. And so I did the cutout, I painted the console, and I was just doing spray on, spray paint, rattle can paint. And when I picked it up, the blue paint that I had painted it on, like it got smeared and you could see the white shell from underneath. And I thought, crap, I'm going to have to resand this thing and start over. And so it just kind of occurred to me that I thought, well, what if I do this sort of look on the whole thing? So I just kind of took my fingers and some paper towels and smeared it all over. And it gave it this really, really neat textured effect looking, where it was blue with kind of some of the white peeking through the background. And then it had a window cut out on it. And I had a mate do a vinyl cutter plotter. He cut out a Superman logo in yellow. And then I had some red LEDs going down the side. And I think it was a crazy old Xenon JTAG, and some, I sold it to some guy and I don't have it anymore, but I've got a couple of pictures here and there. And that console to me just looked fantastic. It was this neat textured paint job with the window and LEDs and the Superman logo. And I don't even know if there's really even a good Superman game on the 360, but I loved the look of that console. It was a really good one.
Yeah, mate, that's awesome. Sounds like a beast, man. I'll have to grab a picture of it, man. I'll check it up on one of the comments. John, my son. Yo, Cameron. Hi, Stephen. Yo, John. Loads of people in the comments saying hi, but a very quiet night on a Saturday night, man. You used to get a few more people in, but it's all good, man. It's all good. Like I said, I'm really enjoying it, man. It's nice to talk to you anyway, dude.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a good laugh, mate. It's been a good laugh. Right. How many times have you injured yourself whilst building? Because we all know how nice and soft those chassis are.
I've probably cut myself on the little tin plate that's on the top side of the top side stuff, half a dozen times or something. But probably my go-to move is just burning myself with the soldering iron. I got a pair of jersey shorts that I wear sometimes that somehow I managed to drop the soldering iron in my lap and didn't realize it till it burned the whole, the like nylon hole. So I had plastic stuck to my inner thigh from where the shorts had melted to my leg. That was not a good day.
Ouch. Ouch. Ouch, 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 mate. Not good. Not good. So, I mean, this kind of sort of covers, obviously, the Xenon with the... because it was his brother's, obviously. But what is the strangest request you've had for a console?
Strangest request. I turn down a lot of the weird ones these days. I try to stick to standardized stuff. Because, just time and having a family and all that sort of stuff. But I had one guy that wanted a PC case, and he wanted me to put a 360, a PS3, and a Wii U all into it, and he wanted it all routed to a monitor on the side of it. And I thought that was a super interesting request. I mean, it's a little weird, and I really, if I would have had the time, I would have loved to tackle that, but it just...
Yeah, man, that's a cool little project, definitely.
Yeah, it just, at the end of the day, I just realized that I wasn't going to be able to do it justice, and I would have, had to take months and months to do it, and I didn't want to make him wait or anything, so I suggested another modder for him, and I'm not even sure if it ever ended up happening or not, or if he was,
it'd be interesting to find whether that ever actually came to fruition, man. That'd be very interesting. Definitely, I like that. That's a cool little idea, though. I'm sure somebody has done it before, though.
Yeah, I know Mod Shop's done a few portables and some 360s with monitors built in, so I don't think it would be that extreme to do it. It would take quite a bit of time.
I've seen one with 2 disk drives either side of it, and one was obviously the Blu-ray for the APS, and the other one was our trusty dual-layer DVDs.
Yeehaw!
Oh, didn't you love burning them things?
Man, and then dealing with integrity checks afterwards, and you had to have that certain verbatim brand, and then the joy when I figured out there was some discount brands that were just relabeled verbatim so we could save a few bucks and stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was awesome, definitely. This is quite a good question. It's one of my favourite ones. Have you ever finished off a console and then turned around to like pack it up and drop?
You know, actually just dropping it, I've probably unpacking them, taking them out of customer boxes. There's been a time or two where I've had them like vertically on my desk and then accidentally just kind of pushed them over and slammed them down real hard, and you have that panic moment of, oh my God, did I just break it? But most of the time when I see them the most beat up, it's the shipping carriers, man. FedEx and UPS don't give a damn. I mean, they will just destroy your packages and stuff. So I had one that the shell was just cracked into 1,000 pieces as it showed up and stuff, and I mean it just gets bad.
It is crazy. It is crazy. I saw one that was literally, like you said, just smashed to pieces. It's like, what did they do? Did they crush it or did they run over it? Or
I'm convinced they have a competition, or they got like a FedEx Special Olympics where they use the boxes as the ball. You know?
Yeah, definitely. One of the longest kick of a parcel.
Yeah. Oh, this one's nice and weighty, and it's pretty small. Let's see how far we can kick this one.
Yeah, definitely, man. How are you with your console's Instaboot in stock style?
I think my average goal, or my stated goal, is always sub 30 seconds. Whenever I do an install, I do 5 boots. I time them and I write down and do the average. And if it's under 30 seconds, to be frank with you, I consider that good enough. I think if I really work on tuning them, I can consistently come up with absolutely, Instaboot sort of thing. But I'm much more interested personally in repeatability across the bunch of consoles. So if I can develop one method that gives me consistent under 30 seconds, I figure if you can't wait 30 seconds for your console to boot, then you're just too impatient to deal with me, and you should do it yourself.
Definitely in the wrong game, because modding takes a long time.
Exactly.
Oh man, I can't remember the time that I've spent just watching tutorials over and over again as well. So you get it into your head exactly what you're doing before you even start. Like, it's the key. It is definitely the key.
Oh yeah, you don't want to be that guy who emails me, and this still happens weekly. Hey man, I was in the middle of modding the console, and I wrote the ECC file, and then the console wouldn't boot anymore, so I deleted all my files, and now what do I do? I'm like, you deleted your NAND dumps are gone? Well, yeah, they're gone. I'm like, well, I have like this stock response that tries to give them some glimmer of hope that they can rebuild from donor files and this whole thing, but it starts off with, you done screwed up big, and just,
That's perfect. It is the best. Wow, you really buggered that, mate. You screwed. Yeah. Somebody comes and goes, oh yeah, I deleted the 000 folder. I was like, you did what?
I didn't know you could do that. Don't do that. Yeah.
No. I was like, yeah, it's not good. So, well, it's just in another folder that said content. I was like, I don't want a 000 folder.
Oh, no. Man.
Do you not get what the word content means?
Yeah, I don't need any content.
Of games. It's But yeah, I've done that a few times and then sat there and gone, well, you could download this file and do it this way. Or you could go out and buy the disc and you could do it that way. And you could do it that way. Yeah. But yeah, it's funny.
Somebody who's
trying to show them how to set up different games, because different games need to be set up slightly differently. Like with multi-discs, and certain games need to be extracted to the same folder and all that stuff. Like, it's hard. But they're like, oh yeah, I want this game, this game, this game, this way. I was like, well, that's 4 different methods that I'm gonna have to teach you just to get those files onto your Xbox and working.
Yeah,
it's fun though. It's all about the fun though, definitely. It's Saturday night. I thought it was Friday today. Well done, Cameron. No, it's definitely not. Cameron says, how are you, weekend modder?
I'm pretty good. I don't know. I'm fat and happy, and that's usually a pretty good way to be.
Damn straight, bro. Damn straight. Uh, Also, Cameron says, when's your next video going to be on YouTube? As I like watching his videos.
Well, we're live streaming this one right now. I will probably be trying to. So here's my short term goal, and I'll throw this out there for anybody else that wants to do it. Is that I've recently come to discover that the quality control on the Ace V3 chips out of China seems to just be terrible right now. I can't consistently get good ones. So, given the Muffin install method with the Slims on the Trinity side, on the Corona side, and then the RGH 1.2 method on the Fat side, it is my goal in the medium to short term to produce a new website, or at least a new page on the site, that does a really simple, clean outline that talks people through identifying their console, and then the exact method to do RGH 1.2 on any Fat, and then Muffin on any Trinity, and then Corona, any Muffin install on that one too. And the thing I love the most about all of that, is that you're going to be able to do all of those mods with one chip. The Matrix V1 or the Cool Runner Rev C or D. It's any of those XC264A based chips, but I'm ready to just abandon that Ace method. I love it when they work and when the Aces are good, but I've just gotten so many bad batches lately that I think I'm going to move on and try to just really streamline and set up a super basic, anybody can do this, and try to provide some tools for doing it on the cheap, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, I must admit, the Ace on the Trinity was like
Mind
when it
blowing.
first came out and started smashing them. Like, it's like, wow, that chip's banging.
That was the best thing ever. Yeah, absolutely.
It was just, yeah, industry standard. It was like, I've got a console here that boots in under 4 seconds, and I've got a console here that boots in 5.5 seconds. The 5.5 seconds one is the stock one.
Yep.
The 4 second one is my RGH. Made no sense. No sense at all.
Yeah, I've read the explanation on why that happens because of some process in there, but at the end of the day, all that matters is it worked so darn well, and it's so disappointing to have to kind of give that up from my perspective.
Yeah, like you said, though, as they think the standard can slip, they will let it slip. You know what I mean? And then there's still a market for them, so they're going to keep letting it go cheaper and cheaper on their end. And that's what happens, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and it's resellers like me that really get caught in the pinch because my China supplier, whatever, I mean, there's almost zero chance of me getting any sort of refund or ability to return or any of that. But yet my customers have the expectation of me that I'm going to be honest and tell them, you know what, it sounds like from our diagnosis that you got a bad Ace, so let me refund it for you, or let me give you a different chip or something. And so I'm caught out on both fronts. I paid for shipping that I don't get paid for, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, and then paid again to send another one out if you need to. It's not good, man. It's not good.
Yeah, disappointing.
Mate, I want to talk a little bit about that because of you at the mod shop. They've got the USB, not USB. What is it? The SD card reader.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the thing where you can put the diode on yourself. Is it?
The SD tool.
The 4 gig Corona reader.
Yeah, the SD tool.
Reader.
Yep. Yeah. The SD tool. Those are available. There's a couple of sites, I think, if you go to modshop.co, one of them that it points at is the reseller is me. I think I'm doing the most of them. We're actually having the next batch of them run now. I initially said that I didn't think I was going to have any more made, but I ordered... I think we've been through about 300 of them, and in my opinion, if you're buying one of those, you're probably a fairly serious RGH installer because you plan on reusing it and that stuff. So, I was really impressed with how well those have sold through and stuff. So we're gonna have some more of those produced, but they come with just a little SD card looking tool. They don't have the wire leads on them, and that's the part that I basically tell people to DIY is just add your own little wire leads.
Definitely. But I mean, that's got the resistor in it, and already on the board.
Yeah, it's only got two
Is it
little SMD resistors on there. It's a little 68 ohm and a 470 ohm, and I pre-install those for sure.
cool, man? Cool. Yeah, man. I'm definitely going to be hitting you up for one of them. That's for sure. So I've got a Corona that's sat in the shed that like I said, the one that I installed my Nandex wires to. And then realised I need some new Nandex wires as well. That's my next thing as well. That's the thing that you've got that is out of stock at the moment.
You know, I
Nandex
actually
wires,
just added those yesterday, so you might have hit me while I was just out of stock, but I just restocked up on the extra Nandex wires, the JR Programmer V2, the Nandex. The only thing I don't have extras of to sell by themselves is the Nandex to Cool Runner programming cable. Those things are kind of hard to get solo, so I don't have extras of those.
I've still got mine. That's fine. That's all good. That's all good. But no, man, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's really strange how those things became so scarce so quickly after they went out of production. It was like, wow, like you can't get them anywhere at all. I couldn't find them.
Yeah,
just the wire on its own.
Well, and now everything you're getting is the clone stuff, so the quality is I mean, usually functional. It's all serviceable, right? But it's you kind of miss where you could pay a little bit more and be assured that you got one that had a little better quality control check on it from TX.
Yeah, definitely. I love the TX stuff. I really did. I mean, I loved the Cool Runner. It was a beautiful little design chip. I love the way that we programmed it as well. I thought that was just quite, it looks cool. It was a cool looking chip.
Yeah, I mean, the CR4 I thought was a pretty brilliant idea. I wonder how much of it was motivated late in the life cycle by the removal of the header to program them so that people couldn't read off the firmware and create the clones and stuff. But ultimately, in my experience, I probably did 25 or 30 CR4 installs. Man, when the Ace came around, it was just an easier install all the way for doing even versus a genuine full-blown TX CR4. I would rather have a good quality Ace and do that install.
Yeah.
Because it just worked, man. I think they were pioneers, and I think they deserve tons and tons of credit. I think they developed a lot of stuff, but ultimately, I do have to question a little bit how much of their stuff was motivated by a cash grab. And maybe they deserve it to a degree. They deserve to be paid for their efforts, but sometimes you end up getting a little greedy at the end, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Right, this is from somebody called Jack. He says, "Have you ever written XEX which bypasses the voltage regulations and blows a resistor? I accidentally did that to a triple NAND Trinity." What, Jack? Are you serious? For a start, a triple NAND Trinity is quite a wild claim, I think.
Well, there was that Trident product that was by Maximus for a little while, so I don't think that's as nuts as maybe it sounds on the face of it. But writing...
But an XEX that bypasses the voltage regulations and blows a resistor.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really malicious XEX.
Yeah, I have a hard time imagining that. I mean, maybe writing a NAND image for the wrong console type could be enough to send some voltage down the wrong channel. My first question to him as follow-up would be, how did you identify that you blew a resistor? Like, describe that process to me, because to be frank with you, that'll sort your bullshitters from your genuine people right away. Is tell me how you knew you blew the resistor, and if they can describe that process, then okay, maybe they got a point. But you'd be surprised.
There you go, Jack. Question back at you, bruv. Like it. Right then. Who else we got? Hey, Weekend Modder from Tom. What do you say about RJ tag and the RJ top method?
Yeah, RJ tag is something I had limited experience with. I probably only did less than 10 of those installs. The kits that TX was selling, they moved those pretty fast, and they ended up being sold out and stuff. It was a bit of a tuning issue. You had to you spent 30 minutes or 40 minutes on the install, and then you would use 40, 50 minutes on tuning, and then you might get a good experience. And some consoles would be different than the last one. Again, what I really like is the repeatability, right? I like one install that I can do and I can know I get a good experience. And RJ Tag didn't seem to be that to me. I vaguely have some knowledge of RJ Top, and that kind of came out
that
of...
was a thing. What is RJ Top?
Yeah, so it's RJ Tag with not TX chips, basically. It's an RJ Tag clone by people who developed...
Right. I see.
Yeah. And from what I understand, that worked pretty well, and people were into that. But, man, my memory is short term, and once RGH 1.2 became just a thing, if I can get insta boots out of a basic Rev C or a basic Matrix chips using RGH 1.2, I don't even want to think about RJ Tag. Like, why would I bother with a... What's that? By the time you install the QSB on the post header and stuff, you're probably talking 15 points that you got to solder to. RGH 1.2 is like 7.
It was a pain in the ass. Absolute pain in the ass. I hate those QSBs anyway.
Yeah, I
really hate them.
Never had a great experience with them either.
I hate like QSBs are just what's the point? If you do a wire install, do a wire install. So much cleaner.
Yep.
So much cleaner. I've seen good QSBs installed as well. Like, don't we get it? They look nice and they look pretty, but it's just you're sticking something to the board with solder and whatever tack that they've put on the back. It's just
and you better not mess up, because if you need to remove it, you're oh god.
Definitely, man, definitely. Right, Bradley says if PS4 hardware gets modded, would you consider doing a send-in service for that?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, if there became a hardware mod for that, I looked at real briefly and did it one time, the Raspberry Pi Based Ps4 Mod. There was this mod where you could clone the NAND of a fully loaded, so you would get a PS4, you'd buy every game you could afford for it, you'd fill its hard drive full of stuff, you'd clone the NAND with this Raspberry Pi onto a new PS4, and then you could clone the hard drive, and both of them would be able to play the games. But for me, what really backed me off of that is I can't do mods that require, and I won't do mods that require me to perform any sort of piracy. My perspective on the 360, and the reason I love it so much, is I'm only unlocking the potential, and I'm giving you some base set of tools with that. You can be completely legal and completely legit with that by only backing up games that you own and you're entitled to use. Now, you can go to town and download every game in the universe, but that's on you at that point, right? That's what you choose to do with the console. I just have to be careful because, I have a livelihood to protect. I have a family and a house and all this sort of stuff,
This is why I steered away from the whole piracy scene and everything that goes on in there. And that's what kind of brought me to the Xbox 360 modding scene in Facebook, and just went, you know what? It could be a little bit better here, but not as bad as what it can be. So... yeah, needs to let people understand that they have their own choices to do whatever they want with their own media.
Right.
And a lot of people don't get that.
I'm all about the freedom to do it. Like, I believe that you should have the capability, but...
I say media and hardware, for that matter. Like, it's yours. You've bought it.
Yep.
You can do with it what you want.
If the companies have their way, you won't buy anything. It will be a lease. You lease their 360 so that they own it, and that way, if you mod it, it's on them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, they'd have that all day long and love it. But if that's the case, they don't deserve the money that they're getting.
Yeah.
They get our money, and then they try and get more. That's what it's been about for a long time. And the gaming industry has kind of gone the same way ever since it went to, oh well, we can make that into, let's make branding, let's make clothing, let's make a TV series, let's pay for advertisement, and before you know it, it's back to the same stuff. You mean in every bit of media?
You mean people would be willing to pay for skins that the only thing they change is the way their character looks, and they would put real money into that? Holy crap! We're gonna be billionaires. That's. I think that's what happened at some point.
Oh, this will be good. All right. Well, there was a strange noise from the console after running it. So I opened up the console and one of the resistors was completely detached from the console. It was well black smudged on the board, so I would assume it was a blown resistor. If not, please tell me. I might.
Is that the chap from before, the Jack
Yeah,
guy who asked the question?
yeah,
Yeah, I would just be really. I mean, I try to avoid never, right? Because never is a really strong word. But I would just, it would blow my socks off if there was some sort of any method in software for you to send enough voltage through a resistor that it would physically disconnect it and that it would be blown off the board. I think that there are errors
yeah,
and stuff that would fry stuff, but I mean, it has to be so hot for so long. Think about it. They use unleaded solder on that thing. It has to get something like 250 C for that solder to
yeah,
melt. You really think it got that
yeah,
hot over some power flowing through it? I think it would be more likely that maybe you were in there like doing a DVD drive mod and you scraped the resistor with the bottom of the leg of the DVD drive or something, and then that caused an issue where you knocked it off, and then it had partial power, so it charted a bit, and then
yeah.
we could what if
Yeah,
all
I
day.
think. Yeah, I'd say no, Jack. I don't think that was done by an XEX. Just at a guess. Oh, don't get me wrong. If there is an XEX out there that can blow resistors off your board, I would like to see it. Ian, probably install it on a Dove board somewhere and watch it happen. Yeah, that's pretty full on from just an XEX, dude. I don't think
That sounds like a YouTube video that would get a few hits. Watch
Oh
this.
yeah, you know it. Check out what I can do.
Somebody would hack a stealth server and load that in as the default and just kill every
Yeah.
client on a stealth server.
Yeah, that's hitting all the big stealth servers. Like, just do them all at the same time. Watch every Xbox just go offline within hours.
Yep. Now we just
Wow.
gave that guy an
No, man,
idea.
let me join the stream, Tom. Not really, Tom. Not really. Tom Handy? You know Tom Handy?
Doesn't ring any bells here.
No. Jack, I think the question is how. It wasn't even my XEX, it was sent to me. Yeah, Jack, I don't think it was the XEX that did it. It was probably some dodgy hardware, I reckon.
Yep.
Have you still got the XEX? If you've still got the XEX, by all means send it to me and I will have someone take a look at it. I'll have my people take a look at it and see what's going on.
That's a fair offer.
It's German, so that's still not an issue.
Yeah, I don't think
Where people
XEXs
can
are
look at
actually
these things
written
and
in
find out what-
English or German or any of that, right? Code is
I should imagine it be written in code, mate, to be
Yeah.
honest.
code is code.
Whether it's English code or German code, I'm not so sure it makes a difference. It's code. I guess. But no, yeah, send it to me if you still got it. Oh, no. What? No, because Tom hasn't got it. It's Jack that's got the XEX. It was sent to me. Yeah, Jack, send me that XEX. That's what's going to happen there. What's going to happen. Oh, good. Right then, brother. I suppose we should be cracking on with these last couple of questions, man, and let you get on today and do what you do. So it usually takes about an hour, but I hope we could go a little bit longer tonight, but it's all good. It's all good, man. It's nice to actually have a chat with you anyway, mate.
Yeah. I've been enjoying it as well, man. This is fun. I've been actually, for anybody that has been watching on the live stream, I've been sitting here doing a Corona CR4 install at the same time. So,
Yeah,
no problem.
Right, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'll look forward to watching yours later. I'll do that later. That's gonna be cool. Right then, this is this is quite a nasty question, which is like kind of like getting to the end of the thing, but which is the dirtiest console that you've ever remembered opening. I've opened some, and it's the best question to end like a kind of live because of it's they're horrible, aren't they? If they come from a smoker with pets.
Oh, I can do you one better, man.
Um,
I could do you one better. So I will make an effort to dig up the video link to this because I'm not sure whether it got posted in my proof video channel or to my main Weekend Modder channel, or if maybe I cleaned it up. But I had a console that I disassembled, and the dude, like you said, smoker, dust bunnies, whatever. But actually, as I was disassembling it, I had live cockroaches skittering out of the thing. And as I disassembled it, there were cockroach bodies and cockroach nest and everything all through the console. I actually stopped working on it, grabbed a roll of cellophane, a plastic wrap, wrapped that thing up as tight as I could get it, 360 degrees in every direction, put it back in the box, and contacted him, said, "Nope, not doing it. I'm sending it back. It's done. I'm not touching it. You know, peace out later." And I refused to work on it. It was that bad.
wow, that's horrendous. When you've got live bugs crawling out of a console,
Yeah.
that's definitely the filthiest console I've actually heard of.
Yeah, live
That's
cockroaches, live. I like that, and that means that they came in the box from his house. Like they survived 3 days in transport. Like, you know, and I'm in Colorado. It's cold.
Wow. Hungry cockroaches come at me.
Oh man, that was the worst.
Yeah, that's not nice, mate. Not nice at all. Not nice at all. Man, I suppose what we should do really is just like cover your consoles and prices and policies, and just have a chat about what your business in that sort of side of things, and we can kind of wrap up this evening, I think, mate.
Yeah.
So what is your console warranty policies and things like that, and returns policies and shit like that?
Yeah, so I've pretty much moved on at this point from doing straight up console sales. What I try to do on my pre-modded page, every now and then I'll drop one because I find a good deal and whatever. I have a standard 30-day warranty on it, so if you have a hardware failure within 30 days, I'm accessible via email. I've got my phone number on there. People can text me. I'm always willing to diagnose the issue and try to work on them with them. If we genuinely find out that it's some sort of problem with an install that I've done, I'm absolutely one of those will make it right kind of guys. You can see proof videos of that on my YouTube channel and stuff where I cop to like, oh man, it looks like you got a bad glitch chip. That's not your fault, right? I supplied it, so send it back to me at my cost. I'll prepay shipping, all that sort of stuff. So I'm certainly one of those. I recognize that I've made enough money at this that I'm going to make it right. If I kill your console when it's in my possession and I recognize that it's my fault, I will replace it with an equal or better console sort of thing. My send-in service is really what I'm focusing on these days. You can find that at store.weekendmodder.com. And then there's all sorts of details on there, but the bottom line is you do a little check. I'll do prepaid on the website. You can mail cash or money order with the console. It comes to me. I have a 10-day maximum guaranteed turnaround time. So absolute worst case scenario, it's in my shop for 10 days. Then it goes back out to you via priority mail. Send-in services, I do restrict that to the U.S. only. So I know you probably have a decent UK audience and stuff, but my supplies and tutorials are international. You can order supplies off of my same website, store.weekendmodder.com. I've got glitch chips and programmers and all sorts of stuff. Going to be expanding on some of that soon. And those I'll ship to, I think last count, there's something like 15 countries that I support there. The UK, Australia, France, Germany, all sorts of over the place like that. South America, Mexico, that sort of thing. So you can definitely support me if you're interested that way, and I really appreciate it. But by all means, the primary product is the YouTube videos, man. Go learn. Go do it yourself. Even if you don't buy anything from me, you can go watch the videos, and hopefully I've done a good job of showing you how you can use the equipment that's available to get the job done and make it happen for yourself.
Yeah. Because like you said, man, the most happiest modders in the scenes are the ones that did it themselves.
Absolutely.
You know, the ones that sat down and went, can we do this? Yeah, I think I can do that.
Yep.
And then you get that XL, and then you get that console, and you're like, I did that on my own. Well, with help from a lot of videos and a lot of but I did it.
Yep, absolutely.
It's a very fulfilling experience.
Absolutely. It's a point of pride for sure.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, for sure, mate, for sure. Well, I mean, I got told there was an Ace V4. I don't think that was a thing, was it?
You know, I was on the
Yeah.
DH Gate, the other site, the other day, and I saw something called a like T-cop or something, a weird chip that I hadn't seen before. So I ordered one just because I'm that kind of guy. Whenever a new chip comes out, I always order one just to see what it's about. But
Yeah.
it claimed to be an Ace, but it didn't say V4. If there is a thing, then it's not something that's at least well known yet at this point. So by all means, if you see one, man, buy it and do a tutorial, like do a video, whatever. I would be happy if somebody contacted me and said, "Hey, I got a new glitch chip. I want to send you one, or I want you to buy one so that I can, you can test it out." I'm gonna do that all day long. Go develop one. You'll have a number one customer in me right here if you can find a good thing going.
Yeah. No, Ace V4 I don't think is a thing. Tom says he's never heard of an Ace V4.
Well, if Tom says it, then clearly.
How long do you think Microsoft spent on security on the Xbox 360 compared to the One?
I think we
like forever.
Yeah.
Like since 13 years ago when the Xbox came out, when they realized they up.
Yep.
They've been working on the security ever since that day, I'm pretty sure.
Agree, man. I think that they buckled down big time on the Xbox One. I think that was a big point for them, for sure.
Yeah, and the fact that they update it so often to make sure that nobody catches up with them as well is quite funny. Like, it's almost every other day that you'll get an Xbox update. Like, it's like, what? But yeah, they're obviously trying to keep us well on our toes for this next lot. I said I'm sure it'll happen at some point. Somebody will be clever enough to work it out, and before you know it, we'll be doing the same thing again. But like I said, Switch might be the way forward, though. Switch might well be the way forward.
Yeah, they just need to start coming out with some really interesting titles for it and stuff, and that'll be the way to be. I definitely like the Switch.
The moment I can play all my Sonic ROMs on the Switch, I'll be a happy little boy.
Oh man, can you imagine that? All the emulators on there, you ought to be able to rock like 360. Excuse me, like the 360, you ought to be able to rock Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo, probably all the way up through N64 at least.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm looking forward to it. I want to be able to play Sonic on the go, on a proper handheld device.
Oh man, what?
And it not be a Game Gear.
Yeah.
That thing was horrible, wasn't it?
Or a modded so PSP.
Horrible, yeah, PSP's good. Yeah, I've got a PSP. My little boy got that, so I jailbroke that ages ago. That was easy as hell.
Yeah, those things were fun. Once you had that special battery or whatever, you could just mod those things all day long.
Battery, though. I didn't even use the battery though.
Oh, really?
Literally, my model just happened to be the right thing. It hadn't been updated, and I just whacked the USB in it and jailbroke itself, basically.
Beauty.
Amazing. I think it was, just the USB charger did it. Put the file on the SD card and run the file. Exploited it there and then. Yeah, I was gonna say, well, Microsoft's security is still better than Sony's. Like, at least they didn't lose all of their customers' data. That was kind of a bit of a fuck up, wasn't it, on their behalf?
Oh man, I mentioned being a little bit in the industry, like computer wise and stuff. So I follow a lot of the heavy security stuff, and one of the interesting tidbits that a lot of people seem to not maybe be aware of is that Sony consciously made the decision. They had people at their company that brought up the issue of their security or lack thereof to them, and they said it's going to cost X million dollars to fix it. And so they went back and they did the math and they said, it'll only cost X million divided by 2. It'll only cost half as much if we just let it happen and deal with it afterwards. So they consciously made the decision that, it's not worth the money to be secure.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
Yeah,
man.
that was PPP, piss poor performance on their part.
Absolutely.
For sure, man. I remember TU6 on Modern Warfare 2, best times. TU6 on Modern Warfare 2.
Title update, yeah. The
Oh,
Modern Warfare 2 had a really nice, what was it? The Cronvoy, Cronovi,
yeah, it's
something like that
very
mod menu on update 6. That was just a lot of people really dug that. When I pull out a modded console to actually play with, that's one of the set of files that I still have that I'll just go back and play like offline or do connect with buddies or whatever.
on our old network. It
Oh yeah,
was all landline. I don't know what it's all LAN. We're next to each other, not over the internet.
yes sir.
And I love that. That was one of the first experience I had with my Xbox connecting with other people online like that as well, which was really strange. It was about I'd always had a stock Xbox, played with my mates gaming like that normally, and I was like, "What? So I can do it without live and not online? How
Yeah.
does that work? So I don't have to pay Microsoft anything or even be on their network? How does that work?"
Yep. Comes
And
back
before
to
that, I was
that.
like,
You
"Yeah,
know what? I
this
can,
sets
so
up
I will.
X-Link. Ooh, that looks good." Definitely fun. Definitely fun, man. A lot of modders don't even know what that is nowadays, though, dude.
Well,
A
if you
lot
can't
of
get on
modders don't
Xbox
even understand.
Live, then why do it? And that's why I always thought, my spill when people ask me about the Xbox One always was, you know what? Even if it was cracked tomorrow, if it was cracked wide open, you mentioned those monthly updates. Okay, so they find a version. Every console in circulation today could be modded as long as you don't update it. Number one, 90% of the consoles have automatic updates on. They're going to be unexploitable next month. Number two, if you do exploit it, I guarantee you they have mechanisms in to detect it, and they're going to boot or ban you from Xbox Live. So the question really becomes, if there was a mod for the Xbox One and it meant that you couldn't go online anymore, would you even want it? And I think 90% of the people out there wouldn't want it.
No, no, online gaming is the way forward. Definitely. What? Hold on. Yes, but Stu, you can play online on Xbox on One online 5 updates below the current one. Ah.
Okay.
So if you're 5 updates behind, you can still play on. That doesn't make sense.
No, I kind of do believe that because of how frequently they update the Xbox One. It would make sense to me that they would have like a rolling target window of,
Yeah.
with the 360, they can afford to say everybody has to be on the latest version or else. But on the One, if you're within a few updates, I think if you bought a brand new one off the shelf that's never been updated, it's going to throw a fit and say you can't connect until you update. But if you're 1 or 2 updates out of cycle, I bet they probably did that as a result of some of those early outcries when they talked about it needing to be connected every 24 hours. You remember in the news they said, "Well, what about people on submarines? Our military members on submarines, they're not going to be able to use the Xbox One."
Yeah. Yeah, that was. There's been so much fucking funny stuff that's come out on the media recently about silly things that gaming companies have done. It's quite comical, definitely. But someone just said, and you think you can mod with an Xbox One XDK? Well, Xbox Developer Kit, which is what XDK stands for, means that you can develop on the Xbox, and then it would go through. I'm sure they've got some stringent people that look at stuff that they release. But if you've got an Xbox Developer Kit, you're not worried about modding develop.
Yeah, and as I understand it, the Xbox One actually just has like an XDK mode. So all they do is they tell them to go buy a retail console, and then they give them whatever key is necessary to just unlock it and make it into the developer test platform. So I think technically everyone who has an Xbox One has a developer kit. They just don't have that functionality unlocked.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Like, why would they keep like adding extra bits to it like they did with the free? They were cool looking though, weren't they? The XDK kits for the 360.
I always had a hard time understanding why people had such a boner for those. Like, I mean, they had a weird little sidecar sticking out of the end and cables hanging out them half the time and stuff. Like, what are you really gonna do? Most people could barely spell XDK, and they wanted one of those. And like, what? you're not developing anything. You're emailing me to ask me how to load a mod menu. Clearly, you're not using a developer console to its full potential.
Definitely. The X and A kit is what he says it is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think those are semi the same thing. I think one of the differences they
Yeah.
had basically like a test net of Xbox Live. And if you were real careful, I think some people got XDKs that could still access that, and they would sometimes find some crazy content. I want to say that's how like Gears of War 3 got leaked like a month before it came out, and the people who did it said that they got that off of Xbox Live testnet using an XDK.
Yeah. Well, that whole testnet thing was practically wide open, wasn't it? That was just like they failed on their security on that big time.
Well, they failed on the 360 in general. I mean, unfortunately.
Was it Holt that released it? I think it was. Holt Gaming released it, and
that sounds right.
It was. Yeah, man. It literally, I just looked at it as like, that's the XDK for a console they haven't released yet. Oops. Yep. Literally, they hadn't even got to the release date, had they? And he's like, yeah, got this. Oh, that's not a good start. But I thought from that it was all going to just unfold for Xbox, but it didn't.
It took some
They held it
time.
together, and everything seems to be still fairly secure on their end in that respect. I thought as soon as we got that XDK, that whole sort of, not XDK, like the neighborhood for the one, I was like, oh, that's going to be it. We're going to be in there and destroying it. But it didn't happen, which is cool.
Yeah, it was surprising that they've put it together. I mean, I was pretty confident going in too. 6 months in, I'll be modding Xbox One and whatever, but put a lot more thought into it over the time. And at the end of the day, I really think they must have focused on security so hard that it's just, maybe there's an exploit in there somewhere. But again, at the end of the day, even if you could have it, if it meant never going on Xbox Live again, would you even want it?
Yeah. Yeah, this is the thing, man. Are you willing to give it up for it? I would be willing to give it up on one of my consoles, but I would definitely keep a second console for staying online. You know what I mean? It's sort of like this. I'll always try a mod if I can, but if I can't, I'll still always game.
Yeah,
I'm a gamer first, no matter what.
And that's what they're banking
Jack
on, right?
Says there's lots of different consoles, i.e., test kits, XNA kits, stress kits, and final kit. That's just a straight statement. Cool, Jack. If you say so, buddy.
I believe him, but why? I mean, I don't mean this to sound mean, but why do you care? Like, what do they give you? What's the end result? What do you get out of it?
Yeah. I want to know what a stress kit is. What's that for? I've never heard of a stress kit.
Yeah, no.
Well,
Cool.
I have. It's called having a missus and 2 kids. That's quite a good stress kit.
That's a stress kit.
A missus, 2 kids, and a job. That'll do it.
Oh yeah.
Stress kit. Have you ever heard of a stress?
No, I never heard of a stress kit. Don't know. I mean, I immediately go towards like stress testing, but I would think you could do that on a retail console or on any dev kit, right? If they're all capable. I don't understand what that would be.
He said Google it. I was like, oh, fine.
Google it.
You're informed.
Sure. He felt inclined to share the initial information, but not enough to expand upon it.
No, it's quite interesting, lad. And now I've got to Google it. I can't really do that right in the middle of a stream, but it's all good, bro. It's all good. I don't know the ins and outs of it, is what he says.
All right.
Oh, cool. I think you can wait 2-3 years. What? I don't know.
Is that talking about the updates? How many updates you can be behind? Is he saying 2 or 3 years? That seems excessive because they push an update like every month.
Yeah, I can't imagine them letting it roll back that far, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
2-3 years is quite a long time. But I don't know, man. You can still plug in an adjustment that's never been online and update it to current dashboard now. So
right, but keyword is you can update it.
Yeah, definitely. Ninja have to handle it then? I'm assuming that's about if you're gonna get online. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it is gonna happen, to be honest. I think the Xbox One is quite out the way of being modded at the moment. And like I said, with the Switch being blown wide open like it has been, the moment that scene opens up, it's going to make it all big again. But like you said, it's whether they've got like the ability to. They don't really ban people for modding though, did they?
You know, on the Nintendo side, their online stuff has always been so pitiful. I'm not sure that
Yeah.
they have the ability. I mean, I've got one of those Sky 3DS carts on my 3DS,
Yeah.
and man, I mean that thing just plays games all day long off the thing, no problem. And it seems like Nintendo just about endorsed it. Like it didn't complain at all.
No, they seem to be quite cool with the whole scene. To be honest, I haven't. Unless you use their Mario soundtrack in one of your videos. Oh my god, they so own that.
You didn't know Mario has lawyers? Mario is the plumber with the most lawyers.
Yeah, literally. If you've got that Mario ding, or you know what I mean, anything Mario theme track, anything to do with Mario, they are all over you like a rash.
Oh yeah, got to protect that IP.
Oh yeah, definitely. It is their number one income. You fuck with Mario, you fuck with my lawyers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't blame them for that, man. I don't blame them for that. But they had been quite harsh to a lot of streamers and stuff, haven't they?
Well, I think if you're doing a review or if you're doing gameplay, there should be some leeway for that. You know, there really got to be. There's an acceptable use case. Yeah.
None at all. I think I was playing Mario Kart 7, and I was basically told either stop or you get shut down. But what? Okay, I've removed those videos.
Yeah.
Hang on. Yeah, unreal. There you go. Well, mate, it's been a pleasure talking to you and chatting the breeze for a while, man. It's been awesome, and thank you very much for coming on and saying hello and just informing us a little bit about what you're doing for your side of stuff, mate. So it's been fun.
Absolutely, I've enjoyed it as well. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been a good time. I wasn't sure what to expect in the beginning, but this has been real pleasant.
It's been a good laugh, mate. It's been a good laugh. Cool. I'm glad you've enjoyed it as well, man. It's good to bring something a little bit different. Like I said, I have done the odd thing with like Tony and stuff, and I know he's an installer and you're an installer, so it's sort of like it all links into what I'm doing with the channel. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff with mod menus on GTA 5 because that's what a lot of the audience wanted. But it's like I want to do more to bring like the installers into it and show you like there is people out there that are doing this stuff and legitimately putting the grind in. And I know you're one of those people. And like I said, I've been a bit of a fanboy for a while. So it's good to actually sit down and have a chat with you. And yeah, man. I hope we can have another chat at some point, some other time.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm totally down.
Quality, my mate. Quality. All right, I think we're going to leave it here then, dude. I'm going to mute you. Mute me and give these people some music and go to bed. Sounds like a plan.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
Anything else you want to say as a last word, my man?
You know, I think the closest thing I ever came up with a tagline was on my website where it said "Weekend Modder." You know, everyone can mod, and that if I had to leave anybody with a message, it's just that. Go check out the tutorials if you're interested in it. Try to give it a DIY. There's nothing like that satisfaction of doing it yourself.
Fuck yeah, mate. Love it. Spot on, buddy. One love. I'll speak to you all soon.